Hey guys, it's Danzy. So, imagine for a second that you run a YouTube channel where you talk about your favorite book series, and one day you come up with an idea that you're really excited about. To do a video about the top 10 weapons in A Song of Ice and Fire, because you love hearing what other fans have to say. So, after tallying up and recording the results, you pop it in a file and you head to bed. And it's only when you're cleaning off your desktop an entire year later that you realize you totally forgot about it. Man, that really would just be the worst, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I would feel pretty embarrassed. Alright guys, it's time for another top 10 list. In a series where a whole lot of people die, you need methods of killing them. So what is the single greatest weapon in the series that holds the ultimate killing power? Well, that's impossible to answer. Different weapons do different things, and while a sword might be some people's first choice, a warhammer might really do it for someone else. So instead of measuring by, I don't know, kill points or something, let's take a more lighthearted approach and simply go by which ones best captured the hearts of the audience and the readers. And while we're at it, let's open it up to more than just conventional weapons. If it killed somebody, then it was fair game for you guys to vote for. So without any more delay, or at least no more than we've already had, here are what you guys considered to be the most awesome weapons in A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones. Number 10. OBERYN'S Spear. One of the better things about Season 4 was the addition of Pedro Pascal as Oberyn Martell. He was hot-tempered, charming, and really just a lot of fun to watch from beginning to end. So, it doesn't surprise me at all that his trademark weapon made this list. Taking one of humanity's oldest and most basic weapons, Oberyn knew that a spear would perfectly counter the Mountain in their fight, letting him thrust at the weak spots in his armor from a more comfortable distance. Poisoning the tip didn't hurt either, ensuring that he'd avenge his sister one way or another. Honestly though, the prop makers for this show designed probably the best looking spear I've ever seen, making it simple enough to look practical, yet decorative enough to be suited to the hands of a Dornish prince. It's almost enough to make me get over my crippling fear of snakes. I'm sort of a bit surprised that this didn't end up higher on the list, actually. Mostly because it's a weapon that gets way more page and face time than almost everything else on this list. Number 9 is Needle. Well, Arya's never been one of my personal favorites, but you really do get what Needle means to her. Jon and Arya, always feeling like the black sheeps of the family, were especially close growing up. And it's a bond that can really be seen at no better point than when he gives her Needle. When you're a tomboy in a society that wants you to act as girly as possible, imagine what it would mean if someone gave you a gift that says, you know what, you're awesome just the way you are, and you don't ever need to change. It's a powerful moment, especially for a young person. It's more than just a sword, and it's more than just a tool for revenge. It's a direct representation of who she is, and her family. Next to ice, it's probably the most stark sword there is when you think about it. Although, if we're talking purely aesthetics, I totally get where you guys are coming from. It's just kinda little, and far from being the coolest looking sword in the series. Moving away from traditional arms for a moment, we have what is essentially the nuclear bomb of Westerosi weapons. And while I know we said we aren't comparing deadliness, I can't help but point out that this is by far the most destructive weapon on this list. Wildfire is not something you want to play around with. Not only does it burn hotter and longer than regular fire, but it can also burn on top of water and soak into dense materials like steel. Even making it is extremely time-consuming and hazardous. Every part of the process has to be done underground in controlled chambers, because small amounts of static electricity or even sunlight could cause it to explode. Historically, it bears a lot of similarities to the ancient Greek fire, but other than that, there's not much else to say about it, really. It's dangerous, it's volatile, and it's green. Okay, now this one I'm really surprised didn't get voted higher. My favorite sword in the series by a mile? Number 7 is Oathkeeper. When Tywin got his hands on Ned Stark's sword Ice, he wanted to take the huge ceremonial sword and turn it into something a bit more practical for combat. So he broke it down and recycled the precious Valyrian steel into Widow's Wail, which he gave to Joffrey, and Oathkeeper, which he gave to Jaime. And, oh god, where do I even begin with this? Thematically, Oathkeeper is the most loaded weapon in the series. I could go on and on about how Jaime gifting the sword to Brienne really was the crux of his redemption arc, or how Oathkeeper represents the best qualities of the Lannisters, while Widow's Wail represents the bad in them, or how the grey and red ripples twisting together on the blade represents the conflict between the Starks and the Lannisters, or the fact that the red dye wouldn't completely take into the metal like Tywin intended, symbolizing that no matter the damage already done by the Lannisters, the Starks will always remain defiant of them. And while I'm not much of a theory person, you could even turn the whole metaphor around and say that the pattern is prophesizing a possible or even necessary future team-up between the Starks and the Lannisters. Like I say, I could go on for hours analyzing what deeper meaning it does or could have, but I'll wrap up my fangirling here for now. There's actually 2 canon versions of Oathkeeper. The one ValyrianSteel.com worked on with George R.R. Martin, which is the book version, and the one HBO designed for the show. And, I'm sure you guys can guess which one I like better. Number 6. Sansa's hairnet. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I get it. Right, of course. Yeah.